Bitcoin price prediction for 2025, 2030, and 2035, July 2025 report. And I found this on Yahoo Finance. If you would like to do your own homework and your own research, please feel free. All right. Now let's get into this article. We're not going to waste any time this video. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. So Bitcoin, the symbol is BTC. Price prediction 2025, 2030, and 2035 is going to be, is a fly in my face. Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry y'all. I'm trying my best not to swat at it. All right. We have learned that they have hit 123,000. So there's predictions of, I've heard 2030, they're going to be at 150, I believe. No, excuse me. They're going to be at 1 million by 2030. So this article is going to give us insight to look at what's really going to happen in the future. And I'm very excited to read it. So let's go ahead and get into it. For its June Bitcoin survey, Finder.com analyzed expert predictions from a panel of 24 crypto industry specialists who shared their thoughts on how Bitcoin will perform through 2035. All prices in this report are denominated in the US dollars. On average, the panelists think Bitcoin will be worth $145,167 by the end of 2025, up to $135.48 predicted in April 2025. So they predicted it that it will be at a 135 range in April, and now at the end of the year, it's saying 145. Looking further ahead, they see the price of Bitcoin rising to $458,647 by the end of 2030 and 1.02 million by the close of 2035. So there's a prediction right there. I believe it's going to get up there to 1 million, in the near future. I believe so. Key insights, July 2025. Excuse my dog for barking in the background. All my dogs. All right. 2025 price forecast. The average year-end prediction for Bitcoin is 167. Peek through predictions, the end of 2025 could be rocky, with the average high prediction for Bitcoin being 162,353, while the average low point forecast is 87,618. Long-term projections, the panel sees BTC reaching new heights and being worth over 458,647 by 2030 and 1.02 million by 2035. Time to buy BTC. The majority of the panel, 61%, say that Bitcoin is currently a buy. Panel consistence on Bitcoin being a value. A slight majority of the panel, 52%, say Bitcoin is currently underpriced. Quick thoughts. I think that there will be something that will happen, and I feel like in 2022-ish, after 2021, I think Bitcoin went down back to 19,000. It was at 65,000. Then it shot back up throughout the years. So, hey, I'm looking for that too. I'm not just going to sit here and believe, oh, it's just going to keep going up and keep rising. No, it's going to hit a point where it's going to get low again. Now, if it doesn't, then they prove me wrong. I don't know. Or, history repeats itself, so don't get too excited. I'm telling y'all, Bitcoin prices predictions for 2025, 2030, and 2035. Bitcoin price is expected to rise 145,000 by the end of 2025, according to the average prediction from Finder's panelists. The most bullish panelists see BTC trading at 250,000 by the end of 2025. That's crazy. While most bearish panelists sees it dropping well below where it is now, reaching 70,000 by the end of the year. And like I said, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to predict that it's going to get that low, but I'm also going to make sure that I don't get my hopes up to say it won't go below 70,000. You know what I mean? It might. The panelists also predict BTC will hit 458,000 by 2030 and 1 million by 2035. The panel is slightly bullish than last quarter when the long-term prediction came in at 452,000 for 2030 and 833,000 for 2035. Bitcoin price predictions for year end 2025 and 2030 and 2035. Martin Froehler, the CEO of Morpher, is the most bullish panel member and expects BTC to close out 2025 at 250,000 by an institutional demand. Corporate and institutional demand is not slowing down while retail is still absent and the nation-state adoption is just starting, he said. Joseph Rackensy, a futurist JT consultant and media, believes we'll see BTC reach 240,000 as institutions and nations see the value of the BTC. Uncertainty has taken center stage, and Bitcoin is no longer playing the risk-on role. It's more of a broadening philosopher these days. So perhaps the crowd could panic where Bitcoin could surge is by the hands of savvy states and corporations quietly stacking Bitcoin reserves, he said. Josh Fraser, the co-founder of Origin Protocol, is similarly bullish with his predictions of 230,000 as people throw their money into hardest assets. We're currently seeing a flight to hard assets, including Bitcoin, he said. As countries continue to print fiat currency at unsustainable rates, people will find alternate ways to store value. Gold has been a primary store of value for hundreds of years, and Bitcoin now competes as a better version of gold. When Bitcoin reaches the same adoption as gold, BTC will be priced at roughly 1.15 million. Over the long term, I anticipate the Bitcoin adoption will surpass that of gold. My bad. Did we miss a chart? Yeah, so Bitcoin price predictions for year end. So they're saying it's the start of the year, 94K. 2035, 1 million. So, all right, so we read that. John Hawkins, senior lecturer at University of Canberra and resident crypto skeptic, gives one of the lowest predictions of 80,000 and says BTC is being propped up by current administration. BTC and crypto in general is being propped up by the Trump administration, ironically giving initial promotion as alternative to government-backed currencies and support the libertarians, he said, but it still lacks any fundamental value, and after 16 years it has still failed to meet its initial aspiration to common means of payment. It remains speculative bubble. How high and low will BTC go in 2025? The average peak prices the panelists predict Bitcoin will hit at some point in 2025 is 162,000, and some predicting that will climb high is 250,000. I don't think it's gonna get 250,000. I ain't even gonna cap. Now, if it does, then I'll be like, wow, that's crazy. The average lowest panelists predict Bitcoin will hit at some point in 2025 is 87,618, with some predicting it will fall as low as 70,000. Ben Ritchie, the managing director of Alpha Node Global, is also quite bullish. He thinks we'll see BTC crest 180,000 as it is showing itself to be a store of value during periods of geopolitical and macroeconomic stress. Our Bitcoin price forecast remains 160,000 despite ongoing uncertainties related to tariff tensions, the conflict in the Middle East, and the Federal Reserve tight monetary policy, he says. Much like gold, which continues to trade near all-time highs, Bitcoin is increasingly demonstrating its role as a store of value during periods of geopolitical and macroeconomic stress. While we acknowledge that these headwinds are significant, we view them as temporary market noise. As such, we maintain a bull case scenario of up to 180,000 for Bitcoin within a year. Rod Hand, old founder of Seasonal Tokens, sees BTC possibly hitting 190,000 in 2025 and hitting a new all-time high after demonstrating its resilience throughout the chaotic start to 2025. The support at 100K was strong enough to hold despite the outbreak of war between Israel and Iran and subsequent U.S. involvement, he says. This suggests that it's unlikely to break, which means the price will probably break out to the outside and reach new all-time highs in the coming months. Mehdi Shah, the founder and CEO of Omnia Markets, sees the potential of the future Fed rate cuts, coupled with BTC technicals inflating Bitcoin's value in 2025 as it heads towards his prediction of 170,000. My 170,000 price forecast for Bitcoin is based on strong institutional demand colliding with historic supply squeeze and supportive macroeconomic outlook, he says. Relentless inflows into spot ETFs, exchange traded funds, with the products like IBIT alone attracting over 13.7 billion this year, are absorbing a shrinking available supply, as on-chain data shows nearly 70% of Bitcoin has not moved in over a year. Key valuation metrics like MVRV, Z-score, currently at 2.4, also remain well below the historic cycle top zone of 7+, suggesting significant room for growth. This is also supported by Federal Reserve projections for 2 interest rate cuts later this year, which are expected to increase market liquidity and fuel further upside. It's now the time to buy, sell, or hold BTC. The majority of the panel says now is a good time to buy Bitcoin. To be exact, 61% think Bitcoin is a buy at its current price, while 26% believe it's a good time to hold the asset. Just 13% think it's time to sell. Now the time to buy, sell, or hold BTC. That's a chart of the buy, hold, and sell. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think. I think it's important to buy if you don't already have it, and it's important to hold it. But if you sell it, you'll make some money. You'll make 123,000. But you will be mad if you lose like 20,000 on it. You know, if it goes to 140. I mean, you wouldn't be mad, but you'll be like, okay. You just wouldn't get in that 120. I mean, at 20,000. But I feel like you buy it to hold it, you know. Now, there's probably been some people that lost their money in that sense. They probably lost their money. It was at 60,000, then they got down to 19,000, and they was like, that's a 49 or 48, however much it will be lost. You know what I'm saying? 40,000 lost. And then now it's back up where they didn't lose. They got back their money, plus they made more money. They invested 60,000 at that time. So, hey, you do what you do. I will keep it though. All right. Caden Stableman, the CTO of Komodo Platform, believes it's time to buy Bitcoin over the next 6 months before it returns to bear market. Considering Bitcoin touched 110,000 already, and there's still at least 6 months left in this bull run, it is easy to see it going significantly higher before the end of 2025. He says, if we continue to follow history, I expect a peak around Q1 of 2026 and bear market to follow. I just want to say there's no prediction in it. You just gotta wait and see. Everybody has to wait and see. It's like day trading. know what's going on unless you are reading the charts, you're following, you moving, how you're moving, you do your clicks. And if you don't know what clicks is, my boy, do your homework. Don't be a struggling day trader. Know everything. Don't just know certain little things. Know everything. You have to know everything about being a day trader. Rogue International and Rogue Ventures MD Desmond Marshall also says BTC is a buy off the back governmental support. BTC is becoming more in tune to the gold these days, especially at the bombing of Iranian nuclear sites by the U.S., he says. Together with President Trump, embrace of digital crypto assets, his sons dealing with huge amounts of crypto projects, and the strong U.S. dollar, the U.S. government is already buying large reserves of BTC. This is supported by many businesses venturing into the realm with the enterprise crypto strategies. BTC is so much less manipulated than gold already. Nicole Dicio, CEO of Crypto Consult, said that BTC is currently underpriced and its current price doesn't reflect its value. Bitcoin's current price doesn't fully reflect the underlying momentum in the markets, he says. We've seen several structural shifts this year that signal long-term strength. The approval and adoption of spot ETFs, a clear pivot in the U.S. policy direction, and increasing global recognition of Bitcoin as the reserve-style asset. These aren't short-term headlines. They're foundational changes that are reshaping the market's infrastructure and investor profile. John Murillo, Chief Business Officer at B2 Broker, sees BTC is priced fairly, but still sees a buying opportunity based on geopolitical tensions right now. Geopolitical turmoils like we are seeing now usually act as a cash magnet, he says. Welfare requires investors to store money and cash in safe havens. Furthermore, governments tend to impose additional levies on taxable assets, which is bad news for stocks and alternate investments. Although BTC is sometimes dubbed as digital gold, history shows that geopolitical turbulence diverts money from cryptocurrencies. Having said that, the long-term very favorable given accelerated worldwide adoption. Miles Pescetti, the CEO of FV Bank, says it's time to hold, but does highlight the fact that institutional demand is growing. Increasing institutional demands, emergence of Bitcoin treasury companies putting demand against limited supply, and BTC dominance increasing in the overall markets indicate a trend. Favorite digital assets, he said. And they're basically asking, is Bitcoin overpriced, priced fairly, or underpriced? A little over a half panel thinks Bitcoin is currently underpriced. The remaining cohort is a split between 30% of Bitcoin is priced fairly and 17% saying it's overpriced. Ruslan Alenka, all right, chief of markets of Uholder, believes that BTC is underpriced at current valuation as Bitcoin continues to embrace by traditional finance. The integration of Bitcoin into traditional finance is the adoption by institutional investors accelerating, he says. As a result, the potential capital inflow from investment funds, banks, and both public and private corporate treasuries remains substantial. Furthermore, if Bitcoin continues to gain recognition as legitimate microeconomic hedge, it could prompt investors to significantly increase, potentially double or triple their portfolio allocations to BTC. Johnny Gabriel, head analyst of blockchain economics and AI integration at the Lifted Initiative, also says BTC is currently undervalued, saying that BTC increased geopolitical importance as a reserve asset. Daniel Keller, the CEO of Influx Technologies doesn't see much movement in the price in the near term, and that BTC is currently fairly priced. The money printer continues to operate with no signs of stopping, he says. As long as global conflicts persist and remain unresolved, BTC will likely rise in the value of hedge against inflationary fiat currencies, which have destabilized by so much geopolitical turmoil. Do you think quantum computers will become a threat to Bitcoin's cryptographic security? The vast majority of the panel see quantum computing as a threat to Bitcoin's cryptographic security, but when those threats will appear, has them split. A quarter of panel members say that quantum computers will be able to crack BTC within the next 5 years, while another 25% say these developments will come within the next 5 to 10 years. The remainder 29% say it will take longer than 10 years. Just 8% of the quantum computer pose no threat. Alright, so that's that is the graph, cryptographic security. So it's just a bunch of valuable information, but also just predictions on how everything is just going to move, and we'll see in the near future. But yeah, man, it's just predictions. It's just predictions. At this point, y'all get the point. It ain't no need for me to continue. Everything else is a prediction. What are your guys' predictions for cryptocurrencies and everything? I literally forgot to put on my glasses today. I ain't even gonna cap. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this article. Hopefully you guys have gained some knowledge. If it sounds like gibberish, if it sounds like blah blah blah, listen, it is important, man. AI generate artificial intelligence is very important. Quality surveillance systems is very important. Somebody kicking down your door right now. Not right now, but when you're gone, you have no authority, but you had this artificial camera, intelligent camera, surveillance, somebody kick down your door, hop the fence, beat down your dog, they will dispatch the cops. If they see them going into the house, the cops are on the way. And they're going to be caught red-handed, all of them, not just one person. It's gonna be all of them, and they'll know exactly what they'll look like. They're wearing masks. They're wearing masks. It wouldn't be smart to be a criminal in this generation, just for the simple fact that AI generated is taking over the world. It just wouldn't be smart at all. But look, to me, this is very important information. My predictions will be that I believe what Robert Kiyosaki says. And I think that Bitcoin can hit 1 million by 2030. That's enough time. If it's going up so fast now and nobody can predict it, nobody can control it, but it's just going to continue to spiral up, it has to be 1 million by 2030. It has to, or close to it. I'm waiting to see when it will go back down. It's just a matter of time. It's either gonna go up or it's gonna go down. So all my peoples out there, man, thank y'all for watching, thank y'all for tuning in. Continue to study, continue to read, continue to better yourself, continue to try. I don't care if you're tired, throw some water on your face, get in here, make your YouTube channel, make your videos the best you can. Learn how to edit videos. Don't just get into YouTube to be like, oh, I'm a YouTuber. No, gotta know how to edit videos and make your own thumbnail. Way it'll be at a cheap cost. You can pay for all these softwares of DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere, Final Cut Pro. Learn how to make thumbnails. And once you are able to do those things, I promise you'll be able to control your narrative. All right. With all that being said, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching this video to the end. If you made it to the end, what is your prediction for Bitcoin? in the end of 2025? That is the question. All right. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. See y'all in the next one. We out.